Hello, Michael Chambers here. Just going to give my community exegesis report. I'm not any good at these videos. I'm going to have to read a good portion of it here, so just bear with me. Louisville Valley Church of the Nazarene is located in the southwest region of Louisville in Jefferson County, Kentucky. It's 1 mile south of where the Gene Snyder Freeway crosses Dixie Highway. Since the church building is surrounded by over 900 homes within a half mile of the site, we found that out a few years ago when we did a walk around the community. It's an easy walk for those that would like to attend, so long as they steer clear of what is reputed to be the most dangerous roads in Jefferson County. That's Dixie Highway. It's really kind of a treacherous walk. It's got so many blind spots for motorists and even bicyclists who have tried to go up and down it. It's very, very dangerous, even though you see people on bicycles, because they have no other means of transport. The property that's right next to the church houses a dog grooming business. It maintains, we have a sort of amicable, if not friendly, relationship with them. The sisters that run the business, they do look out for the church when we're not there. They've been known to accept packages and call the police if they felt someone was overdoing something they shouldn't be doing. Turns out loitering and vagrancy and are common offenses in addition to just destroying property. Anyway, across the dangerous highway is Big O Tire Company. People give directions to our church sometimes with reference to that property across the street. Mainly what surrounds the church, though, is like pawn shops and auto stores and bars and liquor stores. It's very depressed financially, the community is, and I really wonder when cars and trucks speed by on Dixie Highway on their way home or to work or wherever it is they're going, if they ever look over and see our church. Do they see the very humble but brave little lighted sign that gleams night and day, or do they see the light that's on top of the porch that we have always on in Tom Bodett style? Always awaiting sojourners. I mean, I can just see the elderly father expectantly waiting for the prodigal to return. I just wonder if they see it, or if it's another church in the noise of commerce. I think there's respite in God's house. And it's sad that most people don't see it that way. Anyway, there has been of late some commotion in the adjacent lot on the other side of the church. A developer has bought that land where once a rundown mobile home community stood. The land has been vacant for many years and plagued by vagrancy and vandals, not to mention the homeless in small gathered camps. The land has now been cleaned and cleared, and building permits attained to construct apartment complexes. Now, seeing that they actually push the homeless out and are building buildings there, we have mixed emotions about that. But it has exciting possibilities, because fresh neighbors means, of course, a fresh mission field. Additionally, the developer has also asked, and he's looking at corporate leaders of grocery stores and restaurants, and he's trying to get an infusion of economic growth into our oft-forgotten area of the city. It would be most welcome, because in this food desert that the church is in, it's littered with nothing more than liquor stores and convenience marts and bars, as I said. There's a lot of homes that surround the church. These are mainly in the form of low-rent government-subsidized apartments behind the church property, a few smallish mobile home parks, and a rather large mobile home community that can be accessed as well. Mainly inhabited by our experience, by the elderly who cannot provide better, and by either single mothers with children or poverty-stricken families barely surviving from minimum wage employment and or government aid. According to a recent survey conducted as recent as 2017, some 10.5% of the surrounding population is disabled, with nearly 8% living below the poverty standard. And I don't have to tell you that the poverty standard at that time was only $25,000 for a family of four. So that means our community is simply going without. Our clothes closet clientele, yes, we have a clothes closet at our church, seems to bear accurate witness to this despair, often accompanied by a simple lack of resources. Clearly, ministry in any form is comforting and necessary, but this observer has noticed that the general populace really, they've got no interest in what you know until they know that you care. So our mission thrust has to be the physical care of God's people, God's created. We are quite literally the only manifestation of the love of Jesus that most of these people will ever come to know. Before we began this ministry, most wondered if our church was even still open. Ouch. In fact, today, we still have people that are surprised, and I've talked to people in the community that still don't know that we are a vibrant ministry. We've engaged the wide populace through local area Facebook sites and email, and we've put up flyers. I've attended community meetings when called to know when coming businesses and changes. I've even befriended local business owners who would like nothing better than for this often forgotten and neglected community to be revitalized. Observers might have noticed that at one time, before skyscrapers, before really tall buildings, churches were once the tallest buildings in any given community. I think this intentionality to place God above all else has been lost to modern capitalism and man's aspiration to display his insolence and self-reliance. Our steeple remains as one of the tallest buildings in the community, and I think that's important. And what is probably an apropos realization, the basement of our church houses the foundation of God's local call and mission of his church in our community. While the fellowship hall is available for dinners and such and like that, we have a clothes closet that we open up for providing for the underfunded and disenfranchised and dehumanized in our neighborhood, in our community. These are overlooked and they're marginalized by social services. These are intended ministry recipients by those with means. We believe God's intention was that none should go without, while there are loving, God-praising disciples about his business. We even have a kitchen. We can sometimes serve hot meals. But mainly what we can give people is a sense that they are human beings, a sense that they are people, a sense that they are seen and loved. We also partner with a local non-denominational ministry center that does marvelous and amazing work in Southwest Louisville. It is supported by more churches and denominations that I really have time to mention, but they also provide Christian-based humanizing efforts. They uplift the seeking in our community. Government aid is rarely enough and should not be, I don't think it should be taking the place of God's church anyway. So, having said all that, we work at the Valley Church of the Nazarene and have been working the last few years to better engage our community, to better love our community, to let them know that they are beloved of their Creator. Thank you.